All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 14. Well, shit. Complications on the farm.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And the whole deal of the king that's coming to take it over has not reached their ears yet.
Nope. This is all just happening concurrently.
Yep.
Kettle is not yet back. We have ourselves a family drama set up.
Yes.
Not just with Sparkle is dying and prom's tomorrow, but
Right, exactly.
Garter is here, and that's Arnade's husband, and they were separated somehow, but he was coming back here to go get her because he knew that she was here. So it's not just that he's a runaway, it's that he's specifically coming here to liberate her, and then she sees him and she immediately recognizes him, so they haven't been necessarily separated for that long, and then it's
Arnade, please help this peaceably resolve, because otherwise
one or both of you are going to die.
One or both of you are going to die, but more importantly, we may end up getting a battle between our favorite black-haired mercenary buddy and your husband. It would be straight up Garter Snake. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. Freedom. Oh, okay.
Oh, is she terrified of him now because of...
Well, I think she's in shock that she's just seeing him.
Sure, that makes a lot more sense, yeah.
Happy or not, this is... Hjalti?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Hjalti's gone.
Oh, shit. All right, well, that makes it very simple.
Here they come too. Shit!
Oh!
Oh, the horse is down and dead!
Oh,
I am impressed, Snake. No hesitation.
Yeah.
That's a horse. Oh.
Nope.
Me? No. Oh,
nice.
Not even giving him that.
Yeah.
Information. He's
Yeah.
so smart.
Yeah, what do you do, dude?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, don't rush in.
Fuck.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. Oh shit! Oh, the
what?
casual motion. Fuck!
He's strong, but he might not be trained.
No. Yeah, who injured him? Yep.
Nice, striking the injury. Okay.
And with the back of his blade, too. Yep.
Oh, just like that.
Boom.
Now get that sword away from him. Okay, that was the best.
Snake is
Way
so
it could've
fucking
gone.
good. Bro. Oh, yeah, just tell him.
Okay.
They're just keeping it nice and by the book. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
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 Right.
Yeah, it's like 5 levels of things we can't. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit. And there's the part of her that
Kind of
recognized that
accepts it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, oh, her tone of voice. Yeah, I knew he would suggest some shit like that. Wow, those words have some extra meanings attached to them. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah, he did seem a bit older than her.
Mm-hmm. And here's where your philosophy comes into play. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is probably really helpful for you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tear our hearts out. Give us a flashback.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I was gonna say she had to be a Nord because of her name, Arnade. And Garter did not. Yeah, he did not help, yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow. He was killed over pots.
Yeah. Oh, is that how she knows that he went mad? He doesn't remember that his son died before they became slaves?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, we couldn't tell the difference between them. Shit.
Fuck. Oh, just... okay.
Oh. Oh, so he could be alive, but...
Yeah.
But who knows where he is.
Yeah, another situation of that could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
Not literally, but...
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, is she pregnant with Kettle's child?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Well, there's the confirmation.
Yep.
And she'll get another chance to be a mother again. And yet she doesn't realize it, but Kettle's uneven knowing to his own actions brought the storm here.
Yep.
Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. She's shaking. Mm.
Oh. Oh, shit. Hence his whole thing of, like, don't get too ambitious. Make sure you have enough men to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm. But because of that, my son is alive, but he still hates me.
Yeah. But that's also probably where he learned the whole thing of best to lie about, doing a bunch of, like, great deeds in battle and all that.
Sure. Oh, no way.
And because it was envy of the wealth, that's
Yeah.
also why he was so worried.
Yeah.
Shit. And yeah, it's the same thing again,
Yeah.
except it's the envy of a king.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Fuck. This show. Oh my god. Yep. Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like the way she's been looking at her fingers and they've been slowly.
Yep.
Yep. Oh. Oh.
I wish I could say that it wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. God, this is such a cool, like, picture of what they used, like in the episode with the girl and the ring.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The
All right.
storm is here.
Yep.
And we are in the thick of it. And yet a bigger storm is on its way.
Oh, yeah.
We are getting into the depths of these characters so that the build-up to the eventual confrontation with Canute gets even more impactful. Because all these characters are ones we're going to be caring about.
Yep.
And now, okay, we know what's going on with Arnade.
Yeah.
She was, married, had a son. Her husband ended up going off and doing the whole, I'm going to protect you because this natural resource is going to upset the balance of things probably in like a decade or so, to the point where it would be the thing of, why don't we do it and get it ourselves so that we'd be the wealthy ones?
Yeah.
Because even the upset of the balance of power doesn't mean that they would get attacked necessarily with, anything more. No, it's just
And that attack specifically happened because they knew that you would be gone. Right,
Yeah.
They knew that you.
They probably heard about them.
They probably
later.
heard about it. That it's they're
was a
they're
response.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a response. Because otherwise they wouldn't have needed to. They would have just had the shit. So it ties into the themes of Vinland Saga and Thorfinn's whole struggle and everything so nicely. And it makes the situation even more complicated because in a lot of ways, like. If you ever have something, a story where you have like any kind of romantic subplot or anything like that, and then all of a sudden, lost partner, just appears, right? That's a fun development, but at the same time, that can actually make things rather straightforward and uninteresting in that sense because, okay, what do you do, right? Like that's such a strong thing; it can kind of overwhelm everything else. But now even here, there's conflict because. One, he gets taken out, no problem, by Snake.
Snake was...
Because of course he does.
Snake was able to deftly hand him because he, even in some ways, recognized you're curious if I'm Kettle. Well, what if I am? And then he enrages and he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're
Right. Yeah.
you're unwieldy.
You
and
piss
I
them
can...
off, they come at you stupid, and then you kill them. Yeah.
But he was so good, he was able to hit him in his wound, specifically with his... with the flat of his blade, the spot where the knife had been sunk into him earlier, and then just back of the neck, pop, just done.
I love how clean it was because it was very the way Gardar was introduced was very much like the traditional what I would expect in a story about Vikings, but a lot of the time from like action anime in general, where it's like the person that's really strong is therefore really capable at combat.
Right.
But in this case, no, that doesn't it makes him someone that you have to take seriously and be careful about, right?
But he's unpredictable.
Yeah, he's unpredictable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's been well trained, right?
Yeah, he feels like he's just another one of those guys that was in the lake of blood at the bottom of your pit.
Yep.
And I like the fact that we're coming off of the episode where Snake was reading the Bible and specifically does things the way I think Thorfinn would have done it as well if he was there and tried to specifically do it in such a way that he doesn't harm or kill him.
In a lot of ways, that's a pretty cool demonstration for Thorfinn because that's the same kind of shit that Thor's would have done.
Right.
Now maybe
it's
Thor's
exactly
might have
what Thor's would have done.
Maybe Thor's might not have been in this particular situation, and you are taking him captive, and he's going to be executed. But
Right, Thor might have tried to talk a little bit more.
Right, exactly. But
but that's because he's the Paragon.
He's the Paragon, and he also didn't work for somebody. Whereas Snake is working for somebody.
Right.
So of course,
different positions.
Different positions. But as far as the way that he was able to use his capabilities as a fighter in a way that still is like very respectable, right?
Yes, very honorable. Yeah.
Very honorable.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
And
I respect Snake so much more every time we get to see him.
Yep.
Every single episode we have him involved. It's wonderful. And then the fact that Thorfinn was able to hold back Einar by not just what are you going to do? You're going to kill 3 men, but also, could you kill one of these men with this axe here? And at that, Einar relents, and then Thorfinn, has to answer the question because he doesn't really answer it to Einar, but answer it to himself. Well, then what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then Thorfinn doesn't answer because Thorfinn doesn't have an easy answer for that.
Nope.
That's
He's
just
still figuring that shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. I just now got to this point, right?
Right.
Like,
give me a break, man.
All of this time has been undoing the shit and the trauma and the everything to where I can get back to the point that you're at right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so.
And I like that Snake kind of congratulated Thorfinn. I'm like, well done.
Yep.
Like, good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. 'Cause I want, if anything, I want Snake to survive this whole mess. I want Thorfinn and him to learn from each
conversation.
other. To be just good brothers in the same way that Einar and him are. If that means that Ketil and his family and this farm and everything are done and it's over, fine. I want Thorfinn and Snake and Einar to lead the mercenary company and have them be the group that doesn't, kill people. We go about we protect.
The hell that works. Yeah,
like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like a group of Nords, Danes, and Vikings and stuff that go around protecting villages from other Nords, Danes, and Vikings.
Right, but I mean, even then, you'd kind of have to kill people.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You don't know. You don't know.
Because one-on-one situation, that was really the impressive thing about Thor's. It's not that he was able to do that kind of shit. Even Snake was able to do this.
Right.
But he was able to do it when there was like 30 of them, right?
Well,
doing it one-on-one is a bit different.
As we say in the business, he's built differently.
Built different,
Yep, exactly. So that's that whole thing there.
But I loved the different layers with how the very idea that Gardar came back complicated things because
with Arnheid
because yes, he's my husband, and then it's oh no, she's scared of him, and the idea that the evils of slavery, I feel like, is a well discussed topic in our modern society.
Yeah.
But one that I particularly don't think I've seen too much is the idea of how, now granted, there's the conversation of how much of it was battle versus slavery. It's probably to some extent a mix of the two.
Sure.
But the idea that being treated like a slave for so long with that horrible master could so completely fuck over somebody that they aren't at all the person that you remember, right? Like they have been treated like an animal so long, they start to act like one because that was the only way that they were able to survive and get out of that situation, right? And so how do you get them to calm down, right? Even though Arnheid was trying to talk him down, it wasn't that like he was close to being able to be talked down and it just wasn't enough.
Nothing
there was nothing. It didn't reach him at all. Like it's so.
It's heartbreaking because that's why she has the whole question with Sverkel when she's wanting to leave after she's told them the backstory and stuff, is that she wants to go tend to his wounds. Well, there's a whole layer of dialogue and discussion that could be had just the idea of her saying she's going to tend to his wounds. There's the aspect of, well, he's obviously been traumatized, so I would like to go and soothe him a little bit in whatever way I can.
Right.
There's also the idea that he's literally dying, so if I get him into a physical position where he's able to then talk more calmly to Ketil, he might not get executed.
Right.
There's also the idea that he's obviously been wanting to see me, and I've been wanting to see him. So
he was still the father of my child, and the child that still theoretically might be alive out there somewhere.
Yeah. Then there's also just the angle of where she's been, feeling the intense emotions of seeing him come back, but seeing him this way, and she's like, well, maybe I can save him not by tending to his wounds or tending to his trauma or anything like that, but just by reaching him in this moment where he will be able to be a man again and remember who he is before he dies. So it's
exactly.
In his moments of the end, he'll have that regained.
At least he'll be himself. Yeah.
And then there's also just her closure as a whole, just from not seeing him for so long, and even if she knows, he's going to die, and I've already made my peace with that. But no, the storm being one that you could wait for it to pass. But remember, the last time that you had the men basically make the decisions for you, everything was taken away from you. So you want to make this decision, even though Svirkle is giving you the wisdom of, what are you doing? And think about it for a second. And so she goes into the storm, and it's
she does say, "I'll be back shortly," right? So there's the idea that, like, at the very, unless that's like, a lie, but I don't think she would at this point. I think that she is intending to, she was trying to steel herself to be like, I'm going to go into the storm, but I will not stay in the storm, right? Yes. Like, I'm not going to sit here and do nothing because that's what I did last time and I lost everything. But I do understand that I might not be able to reach my husband. And if I do, it might not change anything, anyways, so right? So I'll be back soon, but I have to at least try,
I'll be damned if I let my family get ripped away from me again. But also, I understand that the place that I'm at now is one where I actually could raise another family. Here.
All of this on top of the idea
that this horrible fucked up situation of being a slave could end up leading her into a situation where I don't want to compare slavery and arranged marriage here, but the idea that she didn't necessarily love him immediately.
Right, she didn't, well, more importantly, she didn't choose it.
Yes.
She was very much.
Thank you.
She was not that it would be the same as slavery.
No.
But it could have easily been transactional.
Right. This is the exact same thing in that regard.
Yeah. Right. And so
they're both transactional.
Yep. Yeah. And the thing like, there's all of that with and I'm pregnant with Kettle's child. Oh, and also this is coming after the previous episode where she's like, it was so much fun having a meal like that where everyone was laughing so much. It reminded me of, it almost made me feel like I was free again. She probably knew that she was pregnant with Kettle's child by then, right?
Oh, she's known for a while.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a whole other storm of emotions that's happening right now, and all the stuff that she's needing to sort through and think about and everything. So it's all kinds of messy, and the episode did a fantastic job of explaining that and showcasing that for a character that we haven't known that well.
No.
Right? Like, we knew her a little bit.
Of all the named characters that have been given to us in this season as new characters,
probably know her the least.
We knew her the least before this episode.
Yep.
So now that this has been done, we know her a lot more. But then also they showed the Einar and Thorfinn responses and how they were different.
Yeah.
Einar just, kind of thinking, well, let's go rescue him. But then Thorfinn, the one who's like, no, he gets angry seeing and thinking about in his mind that, like you said, that could have been me who came and killed all
attacked the village while they were gone.
The kind of thing of I did that. Not literally he did that.
But I was one of those men.
I was one of those men. I was the storm. I was the one that basically made people run and flee in fear. Not because of any of them knowing me, but because I looked exactly like that.
And I did that, right? Yeah. Like, I did that kind of thing.
I've done that, exactly. Yeah. I love the way in which they're using Thorfinn's silence to say volumes,
to speak volumes
in the last few episodes, but especially given that he's still contemplating and poring over the recent transformation that he's gone through as a person, but also the awakening and what it means, because he doesn't know where it applies in every context, because he hasn't lived in some ways free that long.
He knows the ideal, but he doesn't know the practical, real way of living that out, right? And that's another way in which this arc is so important and wonderful to have before all the stuff with Canute comes in.
Yes.
Not just because potentially introduces us to another strong warrior that could help them out, and theoretically still could help them out if she reaches him, and then, they delay things, and then Canute comes, and they're like, well, we need this guy.
God,
right?
the next episode could be beautiful if they somehow manage to do that.
Oh, yeah. Or the way in which Snake is now built up to be an actual badass and stuff. Or the way in which, we now know Arnheid and the character's a bit better, so we have more attachment to this place and all that stuff before it gets ripped away. But
the connection that Kettle then has also to Arnheid being a lot bigger because he doesn't know that she's pregnant.
Yep, and the understanding we have of Kettle
for a while,
and the way that he got to be like this, and exactly what the disagreement was with Sverkel, and how this really is the kind of thing that Sverkel told him about, even if it's on a scale so much bigger than Kettle could have imagined.
Right.
So he sort of figured that he was immune to that because he was literally giving tribute to a king.
He had done everything right from blending the wisdom of his father and the culture of needing to be a fearsome warrior in reputation.
Yep.
But it is all come to naught just because Canute has a very grand vision, and it's very impersonal.
Yeah.
There is literally nothing about this has to do with you, Kettle,
and he
or
needs
any of your actions. It is just you have iron, essentially,
right?
And I need to shift the balance of power towards me.
Right.
That's it.
That's all it is.
And that's the fucked up thing about this is that Canute doesn't see this as he hasn't deluded himself into thinking this is some grand protection kind of thing.
No.
He knows he's seeking after like an actual impossibility.
Right.
But
he is honest with himself.
Yeah. But in the same breath, he is haunted by the ghost of his father, who is basically saying, you can think that you're special, that you're immune to this whole thing here, but my
you're
boy,
not. Yeah.
you are, you have only just begun to understand what it means to be king and making these kinds of decisions. So
exactly,
and then it builds up Canute's decision,
it gives context because with the idea of Canute attacking, that is the ultimate debacle for Thorfinn with his new ideology, right? And so to have that happen so soon after him finding it,
he doesn't have to face it until it literally is at his door.
Right,
he doesn't get time to prep for it.
No, exactly. And so that's one of the aspects where I was almost a little bit concerned because I'm like, I don't see how Thorfinn's going to deal with this, and he's just now learning to walk in this regard, so this is maybe a bit too big of a weight to.
This is him putting on
to
training
on his
wheels
shoulders.
While we get this mini arc, right?
Exactly. Where then he starts to see the implications of if I actually am sworn to not be violent in all of these situations where there are legitimate reasons for violence,
or just consequences for one or the other,
yeah,
or even the middle ground of things, because in some ways. The whole story with Arnheid kind of proves Thorfinn's point, is that if they had decided to just live peacefully, they might have ended up, buying more materials from the other village because, they need what they have, and thus they end up poorer, maybe, by extension, maybe.
Or maybe some sort of, economic takeover of the village where it's you guys aren't in a situation where you can feasibly resist us, so we just sort of come in and say, hey, start paying us tribute.
Sure. But regardless of that, the consequences of that were not in any way specifically going to be violent.
Right.
They're the kinds of things where they could have lived a very happy life by being a bit poorer, maybe. But other than that.
But what do you do once you're in the situation, right? You can do the Thor's thing and be like, we're going to remove ourselves. We're going to go to this place where we have a good shot of living that kind of life.
Yes.
But when danger comes knocking, when there are people that are, have a dedicated will that involves basically doing you harm, what do you do?
Right, and that's why the show started out with him doing the foolish thing. He gave away some of his prized goats and sheep for a dying slave. It's the perfect example of what sacrificial, just pure love is.
Oh, yeah.
It's indiscriminate in that he didn't know anything special about this person. It was just another human being that needed someone to love and care for them. And they died a few days later. And yes, Thor's was out some sheeps and goats after someone who came to potentially do them harm, and Thor's basically stands up and just does the no, there will be no violence here.
Yeah,
you and me will settle this. Now I maybe gave a little bit of a flex of the potential of violence, by standing up and being like, no.
Yeah, I will command your attention.
Exactly.
As a dangerous man,
Right.
Yeah.
But under restraint. And that is in some ways one of the quintessential aspects of, I would say, strong but healthy masculinity is basically the idea that power and the ability to use it is absolutely a positive thing under the right context if it is tempered with character and honor and restraint and humility and all these other things that give it meaning. And thus he then does something that to his daughter is the stupidest
height of
thing.
insanity.
Yeah, and thus it's the love your enemies, do the
and to use another biblical reference, because all of the Bible stuff that they're going into, and because the priest literally made the connection of Thor's being Christ-like.
Yeah.
What you do to the least of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Literally to the dying slave that can do nothing for you. And I almost want to double check. Was it something where it was the slave died a few days later, or by the time the trade was done, the slave had already died?
It was extremely quick.
It was like
I've rewatched season 1 of Vinland Saga like 5 times, and I want to say it was like the next day or 2 days later.
Yeah.
It was basically they had just left and the slave had died.
Right.
Like it was, I think it was 2 days. It was the morning of 2 days later. I think. But yeah, it was a very futile effort in that there was nothing they could have done. They just gave him a warm, place to sleep and rest, and someone to
for how he would leave
care.
the world.
Yeah. And it's it's the perfect picture of love that is. Yeah, there's no discrimination. There's no special nature to it. If it was anyone, he would have done the same.
Which
thing.
is the beautiful, in my mind, contradiction or like inherent hypocrisy in Knut's thing, because he has this grand vision, but
of bringing a heavenly kingdom on earth.
But if it's like the whole point of Thor's action in the first episode or second episode or wherever it was is this is something where he did not benefit from it, right? Yeah. It actively was harmful to him, right? And that's how you can know that it's something that's truly believed, not just that something that's convenient for your goals, right? But now in this episode we are using some powerful imagery and incredible music and overall a beautiful presentation to give us, I don't know what it is, but whenever Vinland Saga has its teens episodes start to come about, they start going into some peak fiction there. It hits different. And the thing is that it needed the 10 or so episodes beforehand to kind of set up the context for a lot of these, what I would call themes, emotions.
Well, I was talking about the side plot nature of it. The idea that this was not something built up to plot-wise from the beginning. The only thing of it was Arnheid exists and she had to have come from somewhere. What's her story?
Yeah, in a similar way to the idea of the priest being able to have those talks, or we're running from Thorkel, so we stumble upon this village, and there's someone
over the
from
course
that
of
village.
time passing, the world exists. This is a saga. Like we keep kind of getting reminded and remind ourselves that Thorfinn's story is going on right now. Knut's story is going on right now, but people's lives continue, and their love, their heart, their story matters, because everyone in this story is connected. I love the way that this season especially kind of built up this very ambitious promise of the idea that yes, we split up all the characters again, but all their stories are going to be connected and all of them are going to matter. Okay, so this farm thing here that's very sequestered from the general kind of large world conflict, it matters 100%. It absolutely matters, and we're going all the way to it mattering in not just the thematic sense, but to the Knut will literally come here and probably physically see Thorfinn under a different context, and them being completely different people at the time as well.
And
so it's
oh my god,
I'm so excited.
There's that part of me that so badly wants Thorfinn to get to the point where he is comfortable with violence, because in this world and with the situations that Thorfinn is inevitably going to find himself in, because it's Vinland Saga, right? It's not, it's not peaceful life in the countryside.
Well, no. Remember what Vinland is and what Vinland represents.
No, right.
So it is not.
But that's like the end point. That's not where the show will inhabit.
No. You're right. But it's the idea that what Vinland represents is the hope of going to a place beyond war and slavery and death and violence.
Right.
And that is something that Canute is trying to bring about.
Yes.
But
he's gonna kill a lot of people to get there.
But it's the external versus the internal, is that Canute wants it to be something that he takes from the vision of his heart and mind to the world by force. And then Thorfinn is basically like, well, I need to become that, and I don't know how to bring it to the external.
Right.
My whole external is violently antagonistic towards that very ideology. So how the hell do I do that? So, I hear some interesting religious text that kind of aligns actually really well with this. And in some ways, he's probably heard over the course of time that a lot of the things about his father actually were very Christian-like. And
or at
Thor's,
the very least,
was
making the connection now. Like, it's the, someone else has thought about this kind of stuff too. I'm not the only one. That's encouraging, right? Like,
Thor's was definitively Christian. That was a thing I keep forgetting, is that when they brought up Thor's beliefs and stuff like that, I want to say in the third episode or something like that, or the second episode, he literally brings up some Christian stuff at that moment.
Gotcha.
So it was a thing of where he wasn't just anti-Viking style of doing things, or the Danes or what have you. He did actually find some kind of faith in the midst of that isolation.
Because I remember there was the point where you brought up that you remembered in history there were colonies of Christian
Danes and Nords,
that basically
they fucked off to get away from the whole thing.
Right, they moved away.
Yep.
And so
Christianity spread like crazy from the year 550 or something like that. I'm trying to remember there's a whole other thing you can get into with that, but yes, by this point, it's important to kind of go into context that Christianity has actually been spreading like wildfire for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right. And
so it's the new hotness in terms of religions of the global scale.
Right.
At least
and maybe
Europe
just because of the fall of the Roman Empire, there are areas of the world where
around the year
stuff
500.
doesn't spread much in general. So that's where it would still be a new thing.
That's actually the wild thing, is that
after 1,000 years or 500 years or whatever.
Well, you'd think, but actually because of the Roman Empire, roads and civilization had been built out to the point that there was actually very simple means to get information and traveling around the general mainland of Europe without much difficulty.
No, right. But like from because there's the whole thing of the Western and Eastern Roman Empire and all that stuff, and one was ended in around 500 and one in around 1500 when it was like the last bastion of it.
Rome fell around the year 500.
Right. Yeah. And so in the 500 years since then,
there's a lot that's happened. We went through
we
went through the Dark Ages basically, but the main thing that was probably one of the bigger things that was spread around that time, outside of because Islam was also spreading very rapidly as well around the year 650 and onward. So there were very much these two very large movements of religion going throughout different areas of Europe. But by this point, the Muslim faith had not reached that far into
critical mass.
Well, not reached that far into northern Europe where they're at right now.
Gotcha.
Whereas Christianity had,
right,
because it had a little bit of an earlier start.
Yeah, just a few hundred years.
Just a few hundred years. Yeah. But yeah, it's fascinating to see a look at this area and time and the culture, the people and stuff through the lens of a main character, or one of the main characters with Thorfinn, who's desiring to shift his life dramatically from being a roving marauder to being a pacifist, which is such a dramatic change that, I mean, it almost, like you're saying, it beggars belief that
the story could even continue with him maintaining that. Yeah.
When we already saw Canute do such a violent change from going from the timid, very scared boy to losing a father and losing everything.
But that was him adapting to the world that he was in, right? Where this is a change that is violently opposed to it.
I think a lot of people actually still misunderstand Canute's thing there. It wasn't an adaptation because he was so in opposition to even the Vikings, that the Danes that were around him at the time, that when he came back, they immediately were like, whatever you are is different.
But it adaptation not meaning that it's the same, but adaptation meaning that it's one that is able to thrive in that environment.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, he is now able to be very capable in this world and survive just fine, even if there's still a bunch of violent people out there.
Yeah, so now
because he now is one of them.
Yeah, he's become the storm. So now let's wait until the storm passes. And y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Persona 5 Roll Let's Play on Twitch. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.